Hey there, fellow collectors, Mark here, and today we're going to talk about some of the do's and don'ts and advice for going to conventions and toy shows, because there's a lot of things you need to think about before you come. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to give you a few do's and don'ts just starting off. One, don't forget to have a plan when you're going to be coming to the conventions and toy shows, okay? Have an idea of how much you want to spend, but more importantly, what are the items that are on your wish list? What do you want to get? For me, I'm looking for a Serpent Supreme Cobra Commander. That is what I'm going for. However, don't forget to know your prices, because just because you see it, sometimes you get in that spur of the moment buy, like, oh, I see it, like, I'm so excited to buy it, I'm so hyped up, I'm going to buy it anyway, without checking the prices. So do be careful with that. So have an idea. I actually have a list on my phone of the items I'm looking for and the relative prices I'm willing to pay for them, and have that, because sometimes you might get really excited about something and buy it and like realize that was too much. So have a plan, have your list, know what you're going to go for, and watch out for the hype buying, because I was just in there and I saw one of the Crystar guys that I didn't have, and I'm like, oh, I want to get him. And then I was like, wait a minute, he doesn't have his crossbow, he doesn't have his sash, and it is a little pricey. Maybe not. I controlled myself. But that's those things you got to think about, because when you go in, you're going to get excited. You're going to see all these toys you've always wanted, the cards you've wanted. So make sure you just calm down. Calm down at first. Now, another thing I want to tell you is when you first get to the con, don't just go to the first booth and start buying things. Don't forget to make a kind of walkthrough. See all the booths, get a feeling what's here, because you'll notice that a lot of the people have similar stuff. So you might know, okay, I'm going to come back to the beginning because this guy had some G.I. Joes and a He-Man that I like, so I'm going to come back to him. So you take notes on that, okay? Because a lot of times you do have multiple options, because usually there's kind of a common theme at the convention, whether it's toys or cards or whatever. So sometimes there's a lot of similar stuff. So have that walkthrough first, so you're not buying and then find out later, oh, I got that Snake Eyes, but it didn't have his sword, and there's another one that has that sword at almost the same price. Oh, do I really want to buy it twice? So do be aware of that. So take that walkthrough when you first get here and see all the things that are available. I will say, if you want to have the best pick, don't come late. You want to be early when it opens up. But I will tell you, it can be very competitive when you get there, because there's people that are here to mean business. So they will literally push you out of the way, be total jerks, because as much as I talk about how nice people are at these things, you'll get the people that are coming here, look, I want to find the stuff, I want to sell it on eBay, and they don't really, I feel they don't really care about the figures themselves. It's more like they're trying to make a buck. They're not the true collectors, but the true, like, people try to make money. And that kind of is one of those things. But they come in and they really pick through the good stuff at the beginning. So you might want to be early if you want to make sure you get the best options. But I will tell you this, don't be afraid to come late, because when you get towards the end of the show, not everybody wants to take all this stuff home. So you might be able to get better deals if you come later. So if you're trying to think about when to come, early, everything's there, everything's optional, but you have a lot of people that are like, go, 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 and it's been a bit of a rush kind of thing. Whereas if you go in later, a lot of people have already gone through, the energy is gone, the, oh, I gotta buy, is kind of gone. So then it might be a little bit easier for you to get a deal, or maybe bundle some stuff together to get a deal, or hey, you know what, you got this bigger product here, maybe I can help you take it off your hands. They might be a little bit more willing to make a deal with you later on in the day. Now, I know I said have a plan when you come here, but don't be surprised if you have to go out your plan. For example, this bad boy here, I loved him as a kid. I've seen the new versions of him, awesome, but the original is what I want and what I've always loved. I never even thought about finding him at a store or at a convention, and now he's here. It's $150, so it's like a little bit more than I want to spend on my thing, but it's one of those things that sometimes you see these, like, you know, the holy grails, the like, you know, little things you've always wanted. Sometimes you find those at these little fairs too. So maybe I'll pick them up. We'll see what else we have here. Now, some tips I want to have you before you come. I want you to do a few things. One, go to the ATM and get cash before you come, because sometimes you go to these events, there might not be an ATM there, so you'll be out of cash. Now, don't worry, vendors will take like PayPal, Venmo, credit card. A lot of them will have it on their phone. You'll have that. So you're good there. But cash just makes things a lot easier. Also, it saves them money, so then they don't have to pay the 2, 3, 4% like fee for using a credit card. Also, it's helpful for negotiations because you got cash. Things move faster, so that's nice. Also with the food vendors and stuff, just cash is king at these conventions, so you have that. But of course, have your Visa, MasterCard, American Express, just in case, because they do take those a lot, but cash, definitely best. Another thing I want you to do, before you come, okay, before you go to your collection and go take pictures of all of your collection so you know what you have, because sometimes you're here, and I saw Webster from He-Man, And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I have him, but since I'm more of a G.I. Joe guy, I don't display him as much, so they're on the shelf. So I'm like, dang it. So I had to call my wife, like, hey, babe, can you send me a picture of my shelf so I know what I have? So take a picture of what you have, so in case you see some random things, you're like, oh, wait, do I have that or not? I don't, I can get it. Also helpful if you're trying to get, like, weapons or swords, because sometimes they don't have everything that you have, or you have something they don't have or whatever. So maybe you need that blaster from Cobra Commander. Well, you know what? They might have that here, and he maybe doesn't have an arm. So you might get a deal on it. So some things to remember before you leave the house. Also, don't forget to go to the bathroom before you get here, because the lines can be long sometimes on those conventions. Now, another thing I have for you when you come to a convention, don't forget to bring a bag. You don't want to walk around carrying all of your toys, all of your cards, all that kind of stuff, because some of these vendors, they don't have bags for you, so you want to have your own to kind of carry it around. I will say, if you're going to be getting things like baseball cards, your comic books, make sure you have something to keep them safe in your bag, because you can't just throw it like a Ken Griffey Jr. card in there. No, you want to have some kind of protective stuff for it, so don't forget to pack that as well, so it's in there already. Now, I have a little small bag, okay, but I actually have a bigger bag in my car. But the thing is, I did my walkthrough to see, is like, hey, if there's enough, I can come back and get the big bag, but for the small bag for now, I've got like 4 or 5 G.I. Joes, a classified Cobra Commander in there, all kinds of stuff. But having that bag is very helpful. You put your water bottle in there. I have my tripod in there, a little tripod to hold stuff in, but also I have my battery pack, my backup battery, because I'm here filming. You're going to be taking pictures and doing all these things. Maybe you're going to ones that actually have artists there, and you want to get pictures with them. You don't want to have a chance to see a cool cosplayer and your battery's dead, and you know that, how am I going to get my Uber home later tonight? So you want to kind of think about those things. Another thing I would say is don't forget the parking lot. Look, I know you seem weird, like the parking lot? What are you talking about? Well, a lot of times collectors that come here, they bring stuff to sell as well. But they're not going to be a vendor, but they might have things out in their car, so you can actually meet people in the parking lot. You know, be careful with those things. You know, that's one of the times having the cash helps. You can buy there and meet them there and pick up things. Now, another thing with the parking lot is, do I really want to carry this bag around all the time? So sometimes you get too much stuff. Plan to go back to your car, maybe go back to your hotel to drop off the stuff you've bought, okay? So you can do that, and then you have more like hand space to go around to buy more things. Also, I want to tell you this. Don't be afraid to ship your stuff, because you have to think, how am I going to get this home? I drove here, so for me, it's not a big deal. But if you're going to San Diego Comicon, you're probably flying there. Do you want to have to check your new products, or will it fit on there? A lot of these places will have shipping stations outside. Now, small places, small conventions like this, small shows like this, they won't. But you know what else they have here in Crawfordsville? There's a post office. Yes, you go to the post office or the UPS store and ship from there, and they have the stuff for you to pack your stuff up, which is helpful, and you can get it home. Or if you want to spend the extra money, if they have the shipping agent on site, you can do that. But it really frees yourself up. Yeah, you got to wait a few days for it to get there, but at least you know it's going to be coming to you, and you don't have to try to figure out, how do I get this Conan the Barbarian sword onto a plane when I went carry-on only, right? So kind of think about that too. Now, another thing I want to tell you is when you're going through the vendors, you see they have a lot of stuff that you like. Like, if I go buy ones that have all the G.I. Joes, I'm going to ask them, hey, I don't see that you have the 0 Point Snake Eyes from, the Fortnite collaboration. Do you have that? And they might not have it out because it's not really a popular item, but they might have it in their truck, or they might have it in their car, or they might have it on their store. Like, hey, we don't have it here, but you can order it through eBay. I actually met a guy here, is Jason. He was selling stuff through Facebook Marketplace. Oh, if you're looking for that, I actually have it on here if you want to order there, so I can get it that way. So don't forget to ask, because they can help you out, and they can give you an idea if they do have it or how hard it is to have it. There's one store here, it's like, yeah, actually we have it at our store in in southern part of Indianapolis. I'm like, oh, cool. I guess I'll check out the store when I'm there. One thing, if you want to find some fun stuff, don't forget to check the bottom bins, like the bins underneath that have a lot of random stuff, because you can find some pretty cool deals there. I got my Firestar, who I didn't even realize I really wanted to get. Found them down there for like $10, negotiate it down. But those little things down here where they just have the free kind of things, maybe you find parts to repair an old character or an old toy, but you can find some pretty cool stuff down there. And it's one of those things where you're like, I want to get something. I didn't find anything big on my wish list. Check out those bins down below. You can find some fun stuff. Don't forget to check prices online before you go to see if you're going to get a deal. Like, I'm like, oh, I've always wanted this Serpent Supreme Cobra Commander, but $70. I'm like, maybe. Looked online, I can get it from $35 to $50 in like sealed box on eBay. So just because you enjoy the con and you like the people that are there, also you got to think about your money stuff. So don't always think they're a good price, because sometimes The cons think, oh, people are going to be excited to be there. They're going to overpay, so we're going to charge more. So that's what I also want to say is don't forget to negotiate, because this price is probably not the price you're going to pay if you ask. So I'm going to go ask and see if they can knock this down a bit and see what we can get. I got them, and I got them significantly less than that $7 price tag on there. So that's why it pays to ask, hey, what's the best deal you can give for me? Especially as you get later in the day, they might want to move some inventory. So I got my Serpent Supreme Cobra Commander that I've wanted for a while. That was on my wish list. It's actually in my phone saying if it's there, a certain price point, we can get it. 70 was 20 bucks too high. Guy's like, hey, you know what? I'll knock some off for you. I got my price point, and boom, now I've got them for the collection. So don't pass up negotiating. Don't pass just asking, because a lot of them just want to have a chat and maybe they'll give you a deal. But I will tell you this, if they don't want to negotiate, or if they're not coming down, or you notice they're not really going to budge on anything, don't be afraid to walk away. You can find places online. That's why it's always important, like I said, look online to know what you should be paying for these things, okay? Because information is power, and if you can buy it online cheaper, do that. But I will tell you this, think about it, you're going to do shipping, you're not sure what you're going to get. Think about all those Walmart and Amazon buys you've got where they switch the figure inside. At least if you're here at a show, you know what you're getting. You can open it up and check it out. That's one of those key things, because I want to tell you this, one of the best parts of doing this is actually seeing and holding the products, and that's what's good about going to a con is you can actually hold the product, see what's there, see if he's really loose, or do they just stage him perfectly for eBay. You got that when you come to a show, so think about that when you're going around. Now, I know I talked about negotiating, but I want to tell you this. Make sure if you're going to be haggling, negotiating, do it in a respectful way. Don't be like, oh, it's 70 bucks, I'll give you 5. No one's going to go for that. That's kind of insulting. They'll tell you to buzz off. So do it in a respectful way, because you know what? Maybe you'll get a little bit better deal here and you'll see something else and they'll give you another deal on that. So if you're a good buyer, they'll be a good seller. If you're kind of a jerk to them when you're buying, don't expect them to do too many things for you, all right? So have that in your mind when you're doing your negotiations. Hey, and also, don't be afraid to look up prices, okay? So when you're there and you're debating, hop on eBay, hop on whatever site you use to figure out what prices are, and check there, because if you get it online, you can get it online. So just be aware of that, okay? Use that internet to help you out, determine if it's a good price or not. And I will say, don't think everything is overpriced, because sometimes you'll find places that might have something overpriced, but another one, this is actually a good deal. I'm cool with the price they have on this one, but I already have it, so I'm not going to get it. But just know that you can look around and don't just be scared off by one thing. Check multiple products and price they have, okay? Yeah. Convention exclusives. This is one of those things. If you go to some of the bigger toy shows and the convention stuff up, like San Diego Comicon, Hasbro always has some, exclusives like Cold Slither for G.I. Joe Classified or something. You have those. So if you're going and you see those are kind of cool things to pick up, because it gives you a good reminder, souvenir of your time there. And it's something that's exclusive. That's just, I was there for that. Now I'm here at a small toy show, so there's no exclusives here. But what they do have is they actually have some local artists that are here and local authors that make their own comic books. So you can meet them, and sometimes, you do have to pay for autographs. So if you do see some of the big time artists you're a big fan of, I love Jim Lee and his work, or all the people that were on the Real American Hero, the old G.I. Joe comic book, they're on there. Yes, I'd love to get their signature, but you also think you have to pay for that. So factor that into what you're going to spend. And is it worth it to spend it for that? And you have to debate that yourself. But remember, sometimes you don't get a chance to see them again because they might not be at the convention the next year or the next convention you go to. So think about that when you're thinking about how much you're going to spend to get their autograph. And yes, it's worth it to spend up to get the picture with them as well. Another important thing to mention is don't think it's just big, huge Comic-Cons. There's lots of different conventions that go on all around the country. I mean, I'm here in Crawfordsville, Indiana at the county fairgrounds, okay? And they're having a show here. And so if you look around, you can find smaller shows, maybe just for a day, sometimes for the whole weekend. But there are a lot you can go and visit and enjoy. So don't be all snooty like, I only go to Comic-Con, la la la. No, because you can find some really good deals these places and meet some really good people. Now you may be asking, Mark, why are you showing a food truck when you're talking about conventions and toy shows and stuff? Well, I want to tell you this. Don't forget you got to eat when you are there, and they will have food on premises on a lot of these. Sometimes it's affordable stuff, like this is actually a decent priced food truck, so I'm cool with that. However, a lot of times you're big convention halls, like San Diego Comicon and stuff, you have very, I would say, slightly overpriced food options in the convention center, like your $5 waters, which are like $2 outside. So make sure you prepare. Don't forget to bring some snacks. Like I got some bars in my bag here. I've got my water bottle in there too so I can refill. Now, this is a smaller smaller show. It's just a couple buildings here. But if you go to the bigger ones, sometimes those lines to get food, the money that's you're gonna be blowing on that kind of stuff is taken away from getting things. So this is why by having my snacks, having my food, I had an extra $15 to get, Captain Gridiron or some other character. So you want to think about that. Because I also want to talk about is don't forget to know what your budget's going to be when you're going to go do these conventions. I'm driving here. So for me driving, I don't have a hotel to think about. I don't have to think about parking. It's free parking, all that kind of stuff. But when you go to some of these bigger conventions, you got to think, what am I going to be spending on that room? What am I going to be spending on my food? And you got to factor that into your budget when you're going to go. So you're not coming home in debt and like, I can't pay my mortgage because I got Serpentor, right? So you want to kind of think about that. So that's why I say it's like when you go to Las Vegas. Know how much you're willing to lose or spend and base it on that. And that might impact what you're going to buy. Because sometimes you might see your dream thing and wait, I can't spend that kind of money because I just spent it on the hotel. And so you want to kind of think about that. So make sure you're planning your spending. And one thing that can help you with your spending and planning your spending is actually to have a plan on what do you want to get. Have a list. What are your dream products? What are the things you really want to have, right? And have that on there and have an idea what they're worth to you. But also you can find them online. And sometimes you get inspired when you're there, but have that kind of planned out in your budget side of things, all right? Because in case it does show up where they do have your Cobra Commander Supreme, your Serpent Supreme Cobra Commander, you can pick it up and you're like, oh, I don't know. Because honestly, let me show you something. Oh, that's cool. I love Trent.
I'm staying in Beach.
Yeah, so he was $150. I know I could have negotiated down a bit, but that was beyond what I wanted to spend at this convention. I've gotten a few little things, and I got my Serpent Supreme Coco was like thing I really wanted to get, but like that one, super cool. I want to get it, but yeah, no, that price point took me beyond what I wanted to spend. So when I go home, I'm not like, man, I can't believe I just spent $300, $400, $500 at this convention. I only spent like $100 on what I want to do because that was my limit. Look, I'm calling this convention $100. Have that. But I got to say, one of the best parts of coming to these events, and I know I talk about people getting early, and it gets a little frustrating, but I will tell you, meeting the people when you're here, not just the vendors, but the other collectors, that's the best part of coming to these things. I just met Aaron, who's from here in Crawfordsville. He collects cards, I collect G.I. Joe. We got to chat for a bit. He also likes my travel videos and stuff, so hey Aaron, I appreciate that. But all the people I've met here, they've been super cool. And so we talk about different kind of characters, different kind of toys, different kinds of events, different places to go. Where should we buy things? And that's what's really cool about it is the camaraderie you'll have at these events when you're not competing for the same product. Okay, so so I hope this helps you know some of the do's and don'ts and things to expect when you do come to a toy fair or a convention or a card fair when you do go, because honestly, they're a fantastic time. They're good for young and old to enjoy. So have fun. And what are your tips for going to conventions and toy shows and comic shows and stuff? Let us know in the comments below so we can have other travelers to conventions have a better time and find cooler stuff. Bye.